The second point was try your best to enjoy yourself while you're at school. School is not necessarily such a terrible place that you should just go and just hate. There's many things you could do at school. And and here's the one thing that I recommend people to do. So, you have your class. Well, you can't necessarily do that in middle or high school, but let's say you're watching us and you're in college. So, like, whatever class you have, let's say you're taking 5 classes. I want your goal to be to find, at least pick one thing that gravitates towards you during that class and just learn more about that one topic. Like, that would be a successful class to me. Like, if I found something that I'm like, this is interesting, I want to look more into it. And like, it helps you along the way. Instead of you just being like, oh, this class sucks, it's so boring. Like, you just kind of like hate like the whole class period. And like, there's usually like some things that you can pick up from things if you actually like paid attention and like just like kept an eye out for the things that catch your attention. But so the ways you can enjoy yourself in school, the number one thing would be to join a club. There's usually many clubs on at school. I remember in middle school, I didn't really get a chance to like do anything after school. But I remember, let's see if I can remember all the clubs. I remember there was a club called Teamworks. There's a club, there was an Avid club. There was, I forgot what it was called, but there was literally like basketball after school. I literally did that one day and that was it. It was like my first and last game of basketball. I could only stay for like one day. It was over. Like, that's sad, but yeah, I forgot what it was called. It was like Jumpstart or something. I could be seriously wrong, but like, those are like 3 clubs that come on the top of my head. Those like after school. Like, you get people from like different grades just like ready to join the club, and you do like different things and like have like fun. Like, you meet people that you wouldn't necessarily meet like in a classroom. For like example, like, let's say there was like magnet students. Like, I used to be in magnet, but like my middle school didn't have magnet, so I was just kicked out of magnet. But let's say like you have like the magnet students and some of them join the club, and then there are people that are not magnet students join the club, and then like you can interact with different kind of people that you never really interacted with before. And so yeah, like, let's see, in high school, let's say there was Greenway, which was like, it was like kind of like arts and like dance and like different kind of things that you can do in there. This wasn't necessarily a club. There was this thing called Lacer at my school. It's like an after school program, where like you could play games, or you could just like chill out, and like there's snacks and stuff. You can get help for your homework and whatnot. There was even like band that it was like after school thing, but not many people did it. It was just like exclusive to like certain people. But there was like different clubs that weren't after school. There was this is really funny. There was this club called the National Black Engineers Society or something like that. And I looked in the yearbook one day, and like there was like I was looking for like the like different kind of if there was like many black people in like the club, because it was called it was Black Engineers, and there was only one black person in the club, and I was so confused. I'm like, why is it called Black Engineer Society? Why can't you just say like National like multicultural like engineer society or something? Like, it just didn't make sense to me, and it always like boggled my mind. but there's many clubs that you can join in school. Like just pick one. If you don't necessarily like it, just don't go to that club. No, just like go to like different other clubs. I know in high school I had a thing called Club Rush, and basically all the clubs are outside, with their tables, and like you just go to each different, if you wanted to, you could go to each different station and just see like what the clubs are about, and you could join. Now I know a lot of people were like excited for like those things, so and you might be one of those people too. I know I put this as my first point, even though I'm not really in many clubs. Like middle school, I wasn't in a club. I consider band a club, even though it's necessarily a class. Like that was like the best thing in like middle school, like band class and like the music program, cause like it kind of just put like a bunch of different people together, and like that was like your connection, just music, and like that's what really like made me necessarily like that's what made me kind of enjoy middle school. Even though I say I hate middle school, that was like one of the highlights of middle school, especially the day that I came back this year for a performance. It was like memory lane, like all the memories came back. But anyways, this is not about me. This is about helping you guys prepare for school. So besides joining a club, you can hang out with friends, make new friends, and just have fun with each other. Work towards your passion or your goals. So this is maybe for like the high school or the college level. Like finding the things that you enjoy and doing those things often. You won't necessarily think of it as a bad time. So, like, let's say you enjoy reading, you could read at school. There's many books at school. Let's say you like video games. Maybe you can play on your phone or bring your computer and play games on there while you're at school, etc. So, and you can also do these things at home. So, like, let's say, like, you had school and then after school you did something fun and enjoyable. Like things that made you happy. So you won't necessarily think of school as like a bad thing. So that's that. And the last one for this subject, find things that make you happy and stay with those things. Now, these things can always change, but like you wouldn't want to do something that makes you feel like terrible. That's just like common sense. So let's say at school, like there's always going to be those classes that you just don't like, but you have to get through them. So it's best to find ways to have those classes not be so terrible, and like find a way for you to actually enjoy and be somewhat involved in those classes.